On March 13th, 2020, in the middle of the night, Breonna Taylor was killed by the Louisville police as they illegally executed a drug raid at the wrong address for a person they had already arrested earlier that day. Breonna was an aspiring nurse. She dedicated her whole life to serving others. Until her death, Breonna had been working as an EMT in Louisville when the coronavirus pandemic hit, working at 2 hospitals to save lives in her community. She survived repeated exposure to COVID-19, only to have her life cut short by senseless police violence. She and her family deserve justice now. Join the fight and stand with Bree. Please visit www.standwithbree.com, www.standwithbre.com. Also, you can call 502-735-1784 and demand justice for Breonna today.
Somebody keep telling me don't hang around.
If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So, go ahead and download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. What's up, everybody? This is LoveReigns, and I'm back for episode 2 of the Random Thoughts of Rain podcast. And for those of you who don't know, Random Thoughts of Rain is just a podcast that I decided to start based off of a conversation that I saw between James Baldwin and Nikki Giovanni. And I really just thought the conversation was truly inspiring and organic. And I said, man, I want to do something like that with the creatives of today. So that is the purpose of the Random Thoughts of Rain podcast. And I am joined by the lovely Miss Soju. Hey Soju.
Hey, how are you? How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
You know what? I'm hanging in there. I think everybody's doing the best they can with what we've been given.
Yes, listen, I'm doing my best. Tank from Tank and the Bangers, they have a song called "I'm Doing My Best," and that song has been my.
I love them. They're dope.
They are. They're so dope. They're so dope. But you're dope. So let's talk about Soju. So tell people who you are. Where does Soju come from? Where did the name Soju come from?
Okay, so a little bit about me. Those who know me intimately, my name came from a marriage of those who know me intimately, and then those who, have seen me also perform. So like knowing me on stage and then knowing me behind the scenes. A lot of people as artists, don't marry the two. Mm-hmm. And I think that the people who helped me come up with that name, and I'll give you the backstory in a second, but those who helped me come up with that name, they have intimate knowledge of that. Okay. So they were able to combine kind of their personal experience as well as, okay, if I didn't know you personally, what do I get from you on stage? Mm-hmm. What do I get from you during performances? So just a long car ride with a couple of friends during that time. It's a few years back. And I was like, guys, I need to come up with a name. And like, I'm just stumped. Like, it's hard to sometimes sit and think about and analyze yourself and then how other people will perceive you. Right. And so they came up and said, well, you're soulful. So I'm like, oh, okay, so let's take the S-O from soul. Right. And then we just, couldn't come to this. Like, everybody was, sending more synonyms upon synonyms for the word soul. So I was like, you know what? My name is Julia. I don't want to get on stage and say Julia, but we'll go with the first 2 letters of that. So what is Soju? And ironically, as wild and crazy as I am off stage and on stage, there is a Korean liquor named Soju as well.
Oh, I remember you telling me that.
Yes, and it's actually really tasty. You can mix it very well. So like me, like I'm sometimes undetected, but when I hit, and I hit real good.
That's what's up. Yes, you do. You do. That's what's up. So Soju.
Yes,
awesome.
Yes,
so
yes.
when did you know that that singing was singing always your passion? Was that something that you did growing up? What got you into singing and becoming soulful and Soju?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly would say music and singing kept me alive. I think as a kid, I dealt with a lot of just challenges, whether it was just internal challenges with like acceptance of my body and what I looked like and what I sounded like. I have a husky voice like that. As a young girl, I've had this voice for a very long time. That as a young kid it's hard to adjust into that because you kind of get called names and things. And so like my experiences as a kid, really kept me like grounded. I was raised by wonderful parents who really like sheltered me, I guess you could say, kind of from the world. But I knew that I had a purpose, and I would always sit and just wonder, like, what, as a kid, like, what is my purpose? Like, why do I go through the things that I go through? And I was actually raised in church. Like, I am a Monday through Sunday kind of gal in church. And very country town. My parents very heavily involved in church. And so I picked up music, I feel like, very early in life. And it's something that almost goes without like explaining, but people like church folk know what we're talking about. Like when we say like we understand harmonies and we understand certain ways that just music is without it like being said, without being able to put a term to it. Yeah. And so a lot of the sound that I have is natural. And it's not learned. Mm-hmm. It's not like it's not taught to me. It just comes natural. Mm-hmm. And so I think that like the mix of that in the pain and trauma and things that I felt like growing up all the way through adulthood like made me into the artist that I am today. Mm-hmm. But then too, like when I think about it, it's also like I can't also then negate that there were artists that I listened to very heavily as a kid growing up that also influenced that. And one of my favorite, and I would even go on a limb and say like in 2001 when Lauryn Hill dropped the Unplugged album that she recorded live. Man. Like that album right there, like it literally saved my life. Like when I say like it saved my life and just, it's there's like this one line that she says in one of her songs, like everybody knows that they're guilty. Everybody knows that they've lied. Yeah. And I'm just like, that line like made me realize like I have faults like everybody else and everybody else has faults like me. So my faults aren't worse than anybody. And it just, they aren't worse than what someone else has done. Right. And so like those experiences and just like that album and listening to someone else be able to put that into just something so beautiful. Like that album is absolutely beautiful. Yeah, it really is. It definitely just influenced me. And so like, yeah, it's just those experiences. Yeah. I feel like it's, like with that being said, I know that like, Lauryn Hill gets a lot of flack, right? Sometimes, especially when it comes to, showing up for performances and things like that. When it comes to responsibility, do you feel like as an artist, once you reach a certain level, or even at the beginning stages, do you feel that the artist has a responsibility to their listeners? I think that to answer that question, I mean, it's kind of twofold, because if you think about an artist having responsibility to listeners, we also have a responsibility to ourselves first and foremost. But I think people get so lost into that. Mm-hmm. But then because someone might get pushback and say, well, you've done, like, she volunteered that role. Nobody told her to sign a record deal. No one told her to create the music. No one told her to go into the studio and all those things. So she kind of signed up for the issues. Right. I just disagree with that. I think that we as people, we just have to learn humanity. And once we learn that, artists, they put themselves out there, but to a certain part, I feel like they sell their souls in a bit too, and everybody's just not cut out for that.
Yeah.
But I think that to answer it like in a nutshell, we are also human,
right?
And if we're not, like, I would hope that everyone is involved in the industry for the right reason. I know that there are some that aren't, right. But it's like, you know, even if you're not necessarily heavily involved in the industry, but you are a traveling artist or you are just actively making music, like, I hope that you have to do it for yourself.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's and you have to first form, like, be able to stand by what you write, be able to stand by what you say, be able to stand by the image that you put out.
Yeah.
And I think that, like, me personally, that, like, especially in the last, I would say, few years, just here, like the last couple of years, that's kind of what has just, like, pulled me away from, like, if I can't be authentic, I don't want it.
Yeah.
So yes and no.
Yeah.
But
I think,
you know, like, I mean, and I can kind of ask you the same thing, like, you as in, do you feel that responsibility? Because, like, right now, I kind of, like, you're doing this podcast as a purpose to get, you know, that those people who want LoveReigns right now and want certain artists. So, like, do you feel that responsibility as well?
I think I used to. When I first started out, I always felt like I had to. I always felt like I had to do stuff for other people. And I felt like it was my responsibility to, you know, run myself ragged and, you know, and go days without sleeping, go days without eating, doing shows and doing all these things, even to my own detriment, just to do it for other people, because I felt like it was my responsibility. I felt like that was the price that I was paying for being on this earth. Like, this is my purpose, so I have to do these things. And, you know, as of late, I say within the past year or so, as I've started to pull away from things and stop saying yes to everything, I realize now more and more how much more important it is for me to take care of myself, because even if I don't take care of myself, the words aren't going to get out there anyway. Yeah. The people aren't going to
get... Your craft is affected.
Yeah, your craft is affected, and it's going to be crap. Yeah. And people, either you're not going to do it or you're going to crash and burn, and you're going to end up dying, and you're not going to be here. You know what I mean? So I think it is important to take care of yourself first. I was listening to Summer Walker, because she canceled like a bunch of tour dates because, you know,
hell yes, she did.
Yeah, she was like, I can't. This is a little more than I expected. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I don't blame her, and she got a lot of flack for that, because there are people that once you reach a certain plateau, it's almost like a sense of entitlement. Yeah. It's like how dare you step back and backtrack a commitment you put up to give us music, to give us a look, give us a persona, and then you all of a sudden want to take care of yourself. You want to take
care of yourself, right?
Yeah, like the audacity of you're the one that put yourself out, and I think that is absolutely, and I feel bad for the artists that feel compelled and pressured to stick to that. But like Summer Walker is extremely talented, and the fact that she doesn't necessarily want to do meet and greets or doesn't want to be on tour doesn't take away from her talent, and I think that's what people get mixed up.
Yeah.
You know, just because I don't necessarily want to do certain things doesn't mean that my talent diminishes any, you know.
Right.
You know, it doesn't make sense.
So with everything that's going on now, right, and we're talking about like the responsibility, if there's a responsibility to the artist, I think a lot of times, like sometimes people, I don't know if this happens to you, but sometimes people will come to me for inspiration or advice or a word, and I just don't have it. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know how to explain what's going on right now. I don't know. I don't even know what the hell is going on. I'm just kind of doing shit. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just kind of going through just like everybody else. So with everything that's going on, how do you feel it is? Has it impacted your art? It's in terms of what you're writing about?
I think so. Like the interesting thing about this brain that I have been blessed with is that I never write consistently anything. I very rarely can sit down and like write a song from start to finish, and I can't. And that is just not how I process.
Me too.
I just get like different chunks of things in certain places.
Yeah.
But I would honestly say that I haven't really sat down and focused on it the way that I should well before Corona.
Mm-hmm.
And that sounds so crazy because we like, she sounds like a person. But,
Rona girl,
like,
Rona messing up everything.
I'm trying to tell you that home record. Woo. But it's just like, for me, I just have so many different moving parts in my life. Just right now, just with everything going on, that I don't. And part of my self-care is sitting down and writing, and like doing certain things with music. But it's like, if I've also held the philosophy that if I can't give it 100%, I'm gonna step back until I can.
Yeah.
Because I love it that much. And like, if I can't sit down and write a song that I feel like is going to give something justice. I had someone send me a beat that I think is absolutely amazing, and I've listened to it umpteen times and have yet to write a full verse to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's simply because my mind is not all there. And then on top of that, now that this happened, it just makes it even worse, because it's like our lives were moving in a certain motion before all this happened anyway. And then as a result of this happening now, everybody's just kind of like in haywire. It's just a lot going on.
Yeah.
I think what I do love though is that I saw this app, and I don't even know how I came across it, but it's called Voicey.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Oh my goodness, like that app is so fun. It really is. So like, I've been getting into that. I've been playing around with that a little bit. It's just like nothing serious, but it's just fun to like get on there and like see other people, and you can collab with people. I don't even know where they're from, but then they're just they're super talented. So like, that is definitely that's just fun as far as like what I'm doing.
Yeah, is that the app that you used? I saw you posted 2 videos.
I did, with the ugly faces. Yeah.
Okay, so you use that app. That's what's up.
Yeah. It is really fun. You should really try it.
Man, listen, I be wanting to say that app would probably. If I did that app, y'all probably wouldn't be able to stand me, because in my mind, for real, listen, in the car, in my mind, I am like a 5th generation Clark sister. Like, you can't tell me nothing. You hear me? So if I download that app, y'all gonna be getting acapella. I'm gonna be doing all kinds of stuff. Just be randomly calling people, sing this duet with me.
No, I would love. You gotta do it. I would love it. I would love it. I would do that with you.
Oh, let's do it. Listen, you ain't gonna be able to tell me no. You can't. We can't publish that, because listen.
It's so funny. So that's been fun. I think one thing that I really love about this time and times like this, though, like, is there's so much joy in stuff, like in things like that, and it doesn't. I ain't gonna say nobody's getting a record deal off that, but it's like, ain't nobody worried about that right now. We're just like chilling, and it's just like people are just finding fun in there, And I think that is just to see people just uniting, across the music is so universal.
Yeah. I love the fact that people, ever since everything has been shut down, people are leaning to the art. They're leaning towards the arts. People are really relying on the arts, and it's so crazy because I remember one of the main reasons why my mom always wanted me to get into the school system, and I kept saying no, I don't want to do it, because towards the end of her career, before she retired, she hated going to work because she wasn't having fun anymore. And one of the main reasons I said that I would never get into the school system was because I want to be able to be creative, and I want to be able to use poetry and do all of those things. And once I started seeing that they were pulling the arts from school, that devastated me, because it's just like, well, I know if I didn't have the arts, if I didn't have poetry, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
I literally would not be here. And this goes back to what you were saying. If you didn't have the music, if you didn't have, Lauryn Hill to be able to turn to, we wouldn't be here, So it just boggles my mind that it took something like this to happen for the powers that be to see, oh crap,
Yeah.
this is something that's important. It's been important. You know?
No, you're right. And the reality is that, like, take a city like Jacksonville. Unfortunately, it's like upside down here. There's like a lot of black kids in the school system, but they aren't as smart as the white kids. Let's just call it what it is.
Yeah.
And the reality is that we know how African American children learn. And a lot of, like, 99% of the time, it's with a music heavy curriculum, a arts heavy curriculum, not one that just, you know, pushes academics. And because every child has different brain, you know, has a different brain, and it's just, you have to incorporate those things, in several different ways. So, like, you know, I just, you know, I think that's really interesting. And I have I've had students that I've taught that have gone on to the art schools and things like that. Philip is one of them.
Yeah, I was just thinking about him. Man, I gotta reach out to him. I feel so bad. I need to reach out to him because he was sending me some poetry. I would say please do, because he's so talented. So he really is.
Like, he's just one that, like, I know the arts is going to save his life, and I know, like, during a time like this, it's like, you know, he can use those things to, like, push others and you know, whatnot. So that's like what music is, you know, for me. So I definitely want to, you know, get back into it, but I gotta clear my mind of some things.
You gotta get. Hey, listen, it's nothing wrong with that. You gotta get you right. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get you right, and you know, it's important. There's this one of the things that I used to rely on was a quote by I think his name is Rick Warren. And he said, even a broken, I think it's a pastor, he said, even a broken tree can bear fruit, right? Yeah. And I looked at that in the earlier part of my career. I looked at that in the wrong light, because I took that literally. Like, okay, you're broken. You're crying every night. You're going to sleep. You're, you know, every night depressed and sad and all this stuff. But you got to get up. You got to go and give these words. You got to go and perform. You got to go and speak. You got to go do this event. But now I'm looking at that and I'm saying, you know, yes, a broken tree can bear fruit, but you also, you still need to nourish it. You still need to nurture it. You still need to water it. You know, you still have to take that time for yourself. And just disappear from people.
And I think that's what a lot of people have done, you know. But I certainly agree with you. I just feel like if everything has a process, so it's like if you skip over a part of the process, you're going to be missing a fundamental something of the foundation that you needed to be stronger for where you're going to end up. Yeah. And so, you know, I just. It's just important that any artist, whether it's music, whether it's you're a poet, dancer, or whatever, it's, you know, you have to be able to sit down and just take the time that you need. And so, you know, I realize that this time has been just detrimental for a lot of families. And so I don't want to ever make it seem like I'm saying anything positive about the lives that have been lost or anything. But what I will say is that, and what I've noticed is across social media, what I've noticed from looking at things on Netflix, what I've noticed from the media in general, is that this has required that people slow down and go back to knowing who they are. Yes. Those people who use their time wisely. Yeah. I will say. And I think that what's going to emerge out of me is a different artist. Mm-hmm.
How do you see Soju coming out of? I think the new terms now are going to be pre-corona and post-corona. So post-corona.
Post-corona.
Post-rona.
You're right. You know that girl post-rona.
So what kind of artist will Soju be post-rona?
I like I said, before this whole pandemic, I was making transitions anyway, just going from being married, single, divorced, just all those kinds of things. So I'm still as a woman in that transition. Mm-hmm. I found new love, and that's part of a transition. Yeah. That I've been going through. Changing as a parent, that's part of a transition. So I feel like, honestly, if Soju even exists, as weird as that sounds, I think Taryn and I were having this conversation the other day about me changing my name. because I feel like when I see Soju, it gives me a different connotation than what I currently feel. And to me, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It sounded a little weird for me to even say, but I just think that coming out of this, I'm going to be way more authentic.
Gotcha.
And I think authentic with myself, authentic with the audience, authentic with people who help me create music, and just be honest, because I think about my age.
Yeah.
I'm 32. I think about the example I have to set for my children. I think about just what I ultimately want to do with music.
Yeah.
In the long run, and it's conducive for me if I were to be 100% honest with who I am as a woman, and just like developing from that. And so I don't know what, I'm not going to bust out what is it, Evanescence, what
yeah.
I'm saying?
I know what you're
Evanescence.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm not going to come out like the punk rock side, but I mean, it's just, my music, I just feel like it's much more happy.
Gotcha.
Than it was before. I think I wrote a lot about hurt.
Gotcha.
And just coming from a place of hurt, and I don't feel that,
Yeah.
I have some remnants left of that I think will peep in through music here and there, but I think just myself as a person, I know where I'm going.
Yeah.
More so, and again, like having someone like in your life, it just as a partner is just different, than and so that also influences things.
Yeah.
I can't, I don't want to sit and dwell as an artist on the hurt that I felt, and not be using that time that I could to just be happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Soju, I don't know, I don't want to say that she won't exist, but I don't know who she'll be in a few months.
Yeah. And that's awesome. I mean, that's authenticity right there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because it's like you're being authentic and being true to the fact that, listen, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to come of this, right? So speaking of love, I've tried to explain this to people before. When I don't have love or have somebody, and this may sound crazy, I feel like, not that I can't do anything, I just feel less inspired and less motivated, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't want people to hear this and think, oh, you need to love yourself, and like, I get that, whatever. I do. Trust me, I love myself, but I just feel stronger.
You can see it.
Yeah, I feel stronger when you have that, when you have somebody, that loves you. It feels good, man, and it
does. It really does.
Yeah, and it's like it literally flows through every part of your life. Yeah, and when you don't have it,
it like for me, of course, my cum twins, and my sweet potato pie.
The sweet potato pie. Oh, the boot.
And it's just funny, like, hearing you say, like, how inspiring, love is and how it can be. It's like, it's funny because I've literally sat down and written a couple of songs about Terry and I's involvement. And, but mostly I sit and I observe.
Yeah.
I observe everything and I put together what it is that I want to say. It's like I'm watching a movie as it's happening, and then I'm taking notes.
Yeah.
On what's happening, and then then I write about it. And it's like, then when I start writing about it is when I have a beat that comes to me by somehow, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I really strongly believe that they come as they are needed, and it's like and then I write about it, and it's just like that. But it has been an inspiration, and that's what I meant by, like, even like just coming out of this, to be in a relationship with somebody, and then it being so unexpected, and then it being so, it's the cutest thing. Like, it is. Like, I honestly feel like a teenager. I feel like a big kid, and I just feel just happy to be to have another chance. And like, everybody doesn't get a chance to say that, you know. So it does. But to kind of like speak to your point, I think that that's like twofold, because think about if we were to go through a breakup as people, then that also gives us motivation. So it's like, I think we as artists crave things to write about.
Yeah.
So it's like when we're in love, we can write about being in love, and then when someone really does some shit to mess us over, it's like, I don't know if I can curse on here. Really
For sure.
You know, I know people
unfiltered. Listen, unfiltered, candid.
Let's say, he gonna be crazy about to come out. I gotta push it back down. But even like when we go through a breakup, like we have that to write about, and that's what pushes us and motivates us. So it's like, that's the thing about art. I feel like, and one thing I've never taken for granted is the fact that I've been blessed to be able to think something, put it into words, and then relay it to someone else and get them to feel the same way that I felt about it.
Yeah.
Like, that is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And like, if you can do that, like that to me, it's not just, that's the first part of it, but then it's like to get them to a place of healing through what you've been through is like the second part. It's like that to me, if that shit is beautiful.
It is.
And it's like, if you just like take that for granted, or if you look over it, and that's why I say like I have to do everything so methodically and careful. Yeah. Because I don't want to not do it justice. Yeah. You know, it's easy to sit around and say, oh, you have so much talent, blah, you know, like, all right, I can sing, but so can a million other people. That's like, but at the end of the day, it's like, how does my experience, my life story, what I've gone through, how can I put that into something that's going to sound so beautiful that they never stop thinking about it, and it gives them healing. Yeah. And that's what that Lauryn Hill album did for me.
That's awesome. Yeah.
That's awesome. And so like, you know, it's just.
This is the Random Thoughts of Rain podcast. I am LoveReigns. Right now we're going to get into some music from our guest, Soju. Check it out.
Yeah, you fell and bumped it. Got me messed up when I was thrown into the ruckus. Gave it up too easy when all you text was what's up. I gave it to you. All my truth broke all the rules. All the rules. All you did was fuck with my insanity, and my emotions got me fucked up, yeah. Don't you ever think that I won't change. One of these days I'll come back again to show you what you've been missing. I know the time will come when you say you messed up. You turned your back on love, left me stuck, uncomfortable. How can I forgive when you gave up? All when you were down, I held us up, made you way too comfortable. I was in the ruckus, you know that I was stuck, but no, I wasn't out of focus. You tried to make it seem like I was being needy when it wasn't me. Inside you was seething. You said you wanted change. I guess my presence wasn't worth the change either. Don't you ever think that I won't change. One of these days I'll come back again to show you what you've been missing. I know the time will come when you say you messed up. You turned your back on love, left me stuck, uncomfortable. How can I forgive when you gave up? All when you were down, I held us up, made you way too comfortable. wasn't me inside you were seething. You said you wanted change. Did you mean you wanted, what's his name? Oops, I know I said it, but I'm a truth teller. Can you tell him go and spread it? Cause I done lived it and now I'm dreaming, yo. Now I'm dreaming, yo, 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 yo. Now I'm dreaming, yo, 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 yo. Don't you ever think that I won't change. One of these days I'll come back again to show you what you've been missing. I know the time will come when you say you messed up. You turned your back on love, left me you turned your back on. Can I forgive when you gave up? Or when you were down, I held us up, made you way too comfortable.
The Adeles and the Beyoncés and the you know, the other talents that there are. You know, there's so many of them.
Yeah.
But just like really big people that are just like, if you don't know their name, you're strange. You know, like I just really enjoy that. But just super talented.
Yeah, she really is.
But like there will always be only one Adele. Like
exactly,
so,
the only one. That's like the voice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I strongly feel like there's one me. You know, and I just want people to get the right me.
Yeah.
The me that the me that I can stand beside and be proud of, and you know, is well thought out, well planned.
Awesome. Well, you actually just answered it was going to be my last question was, what is it that you want people to get, you know, from your music, from your artistry? What is it that ultimately, you know, you want when they come in and they hear you or they play your songs? What is it that you want them to feel?
Several different things, honestly. Like when I think about feelings, I think I don't always want someone to feel what I felt when I went through. You know, some people say they write and they want to, like, you know, I want those who listen to my music to like feel the pain I was going through. I actually want people to see the other side of it, the triumph. Mm-hmm. And so it's like if I think about it the same way as teaching. If I can alter or change or impact, however you want to say it, someone through something that I say in a song or a way that I sound, like that really would make me happy, you know. But I just think that I need patience. I need patience with myself and with my process. Man, so in turn, I want people to have grace. You know, I expect me to sound good. Yeah. Like sound great vocally. Because that's another thing too. Like when I come back out, I want to sound tip top vocally. Mm-hmm. But then I just want people to understand that this has taken so long because it needed to be right. It needed to be perfect. Right. And it has been a process. And I think, you know, there's been artists that we've heard, like, where have you been at for the last, well, I've been learning myself for the last 8 years. Right. Or the last 6 years, and that's how it took, and that's how I got this project. Mm-hmm. You know, that's how I got to this end result, because I knew what I wanted. I just knew that I had to get other things right to be that artist that I want. Yeah.
Should Beyonce do it? Beyonce do it all the time. Beyonce get missing, and then she come right back, you know, like she never left. You know, so
she come back and looking 45 and snatch.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So tell the people how they can get in contact with you, how they can support you, how can they listen to your music now, pre-Rona.
Yeah. So There's definitely my Instagram, Soju Neo Soul. My Facebook, that's probably not reliable, so I'm not going to do that. But I'm also, I'll tell you, I love voicing. So like voicing is the shit.
So can you is it like a social?
GGB.
It's like a social, so you can go in there and like. It's not sound. I feel like I sound like my mom.
It's almost like TikTok.
Oh, see, I don't know about TikTok either.
It's a social media site.
Okay.
It's a social media site. Like when we hang up, I want you to go download voice.
Okay.
And then a Y.
Okay.
Gotcha. Oh no, I'm sorry. Voice is spelled with a C. I'm tripping. VOI. I'm not shit. VOISEY.
Okay, gotcha.
It's like Boise, and like you'll create a little profile. And it's so cute because they have like little filters on there. It's the cutest little thing. My favorite is the Billie Eilish filter.
Oh, yeah. I love Billie Eilish. Oh my
I know,
gosh.
like I had a dream.
Yes, like, sing it. Go ahead, keep going.
Everything I wanted.
Hey, like, that's my song. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I think she's cute too. Until my children told me she was of the devil. I said, no,
she's
not of the devil.
She's different, you know what I'm saying? But I love her.
She is.
And I just love that she don't give a fuck. She really don't.
You know, she been homeschooled all her life. And you know what? And people who meet me I come across like that. Like I don't give a fuck. And like I'm very nonchalant. But like the reality is that everybody has a purpose. And if we don't walk in it, it's like, and I'm also too about energies. It's like if I don't have the right energies around me when I'm creating music, I don't want it.
Right.
So like, and I think that like that has been kind of the biggest challenge. Mm-hmm. You know, it's just finding the right music making energies. I've come across some excellent producers, but it's like just like someone's like sit down, just write and like start from scratch.
Yeah.
You know, and just that kind of way. But I just believe that, you know, when it's meant to happen, it will.
It is. I truly believe that. I think it's all going to fall into place. And I'm excited about the post-Rona Soju or not Soju. I'm looking forward to it.
I will definitely keep everyone posted, you know, and I'll definitely, again, every social media platform is Soju Neo Soul.
Awesome.
So just, you know, you'll know, and I'll turn the whole profile picture black.
Cool. So if people want to support you, let's say, you know, if they want to bless you through CashApp or Venmo, how can they do that?
Oh, okay. Ooh, let me tell you something. I almost just got up just now and started twerking because all I see is myself on the pole. You like that? What's that song? Be like, you know, going to sit there and get something. Like this is what I had in my head just now. See, you bringing it out of me.
Oh my
god. It's sing, Soju, sing.
Okay, so Soju sing.
No, sing, Soju, sing.
Oh, sing, Soju, sing. So that's your cash app.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, SING, Soju, sing.
All right, cool. So I'll make sure I put that in the.
I thought I was gonna have to get my knees right, girl. I didn't know what you was doing.
Go ahead, twerk for the people. That's the new Soju you talking about. Go ahead.
Yeah, and look, I was telling Taryn the other day. I said, "Man, what would you do like if I came out like Megan Thee Stallion?"
What did he say? What was his response?
He was like, "I don't think that would be you."
Oh man!
I'm like, my baby's still learning me.
Like, what you don't know is,
baby.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Soju. And tell Terry. Tell Terry he's next. Terry, you're next.
Say hello.
Broski.
Hey.
Hello, broski. You're next, broski. All right, Soju. All right, I love you, broski. Whatever. You gonna get your listen. I'm saying this to the world. Venom is gonna get his ass whooped in Tetris. I just want to say that and put that out there right now. So bring that ass. Bring that ass so I can beat you in Tetris, sir.
We're gonna put it on live so everybody can see.
Listen, I ain't nothing but space and opportunity, young man. Let's go. Let's do it.
Yep. It's gonna be the coronavirus version.
We're gonna have to find some kind of app or something where we can battle on Tetris. Because listen, it's real.
I bet they have it though, because they have that bingo.
I'm gonna find it. Tell him I'm gonna find it, and I'm gonna whoop his ass.
We're gonna find a Tetris app. And, with your ass.
And we're gonna do it live. You hear that?
And live. Live for the whole world to see.
Right.
Can't hurt them too bad now. Can't beat them too bad.
All right, Soju. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And so, once again, this is the Random Thoughts of Rain podcast, episode 2. This has been the lovely, lovely, lovely Soju. So thank you all
so much.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you all for tuning in. Right. And stay tuned for the next episode. Thank you all for tuning into the Random Thoughts of Rain podcast. I truly hope that you enjoyed the episode. Make sure you tune in for the next one. You never know who I'm going to be talking to next. Peace.